Hey, what is up guys? So today we're going to do a comparison review on both of the Red 13 figures made by PlayArtKai. These have been some of the most sought after Final Fantasy VII figures, so I thought today we would take a look at the differences. So I hope you guys will enjoy the video, and with that being said, let's get into it. Stay tuned guys. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at the packaging. So as you guys can see, the packaging is sideways compared to the rest of the Final Fantasy VII figures. And on the front we have a nice photo of the figures themselves. So on the sides of the packaging we have the Final Fantasy VII and PlayArtKai logos. And on the back we have a couple of screenshots of the figures themselves. So here's a close-up, just in case you guys want to check it out. And here's the inside of the packaging. So this is the original AC Red 13 with a nice photo of the figure itself. And over here we have a bit of text. So if you guys want to read this, then by all means, feel free to pause and read. I just hope you guys can make out the text. I hope the quality is clear enough. And here we have the figure in a nice window display packaging to showcase inside the box. And this is the new remake. And over here we have some text on the character. And once again, the figure in a nice window display. Okay, and so this would be a look at the accessories. Although as you guys can see, both of the figures don't come with any accessories whatsoever. Which is a bit of a shame. I really expected these figures to come with maybe at least an interchangeable head sculpt or some type of accessory, but as you can see, all we have is the figure itself. So this is the original Red 13. We only have the figure, and as for the remake, once again, it's just a figure. So yeah, a little bit disappointing, but anyhow, that's a look at the packaging. Let's take a closer look at the figures. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a quick look at my entire PlayArtKai Final Fantasy VII Remake and AC figures. So now I have done a review of every single figure here. So if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and be sure to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these remake figure reviews. So as you guys can see, we have Rude, Sephiroth and Reno in the back. We have Aerith, Rufus, Red 13, Cloud Strife, and Tifa. And down here we have the original AC Red 13 beside Vincent Valentine, Barrett, Sid, and Cloud Strife. But anyhow, let's take a closer look at both of these Red 13 figures made by PlayArtKai. Stay tuned guys. Okay, so let's take a closer look at both of these figures. So this is the original Red 13 from AC. This is still one of my favorite figures. It's also a very rare figure. I think it came out around maybe 2015, whereas the remake came out 2022. So this is a very recent figure as of the dates of this video. I would say I love these figures both equally. They have a much different sculpts, as you can see. He looks kind of animated, like kind of cartoony, whereas the remake, it looks pretty realistic. So I just think there's a nice contrast between both of these figures, and I'm really happy to have them both. I think this original Red 13 was probably one of the rarest AC figures that PlayArtKai ever made. You can see the eye sculpted in there. It's very nicely painted, and it's even got like a clear wash over the eye to make it look almost wet, which is super realistic. This is just, it's always been one of my favorites head sculpts from PlayArtKai. I just love it so much. And up here we have all these nice bits of detail, like the piercing on the ear, all these braids sculpted in the hairpiece, and the feather up here. Even the hairpiece is really nicely sculpted. You can see all the strands of hair sculpted in there, and all the nice fur detail. On his shoulder we have this 13 symbol, which I think is pretty much the exact same on the remake version of Red. And moving down here to the hands, or the paws I should say. But anyhow, here's a look at the claws, like the nails sculpted in there. And as for the rest of the figure, we have the back leg with all these patterns sculpted in there. It's a pretty clean paint job, Which, you know, I'm pretty surprised because this figure's coming up to like 10 years old, which is pretty insane. So, you know, I would say the detailing and the paint job is pretty good for such an old figure. And as for the tail itself, it's made out of a soft piece of rubber, so you can pose it any which way you want and it will hold that position. And as for the new Red 13 from the new remake, and yeah, I'm so happy to finally have this figure. We have been waiting such a long time for PlayArt Kai to finally remake this character, so you know, I'm just over the moon to finally have him in hand. And he turned out amazing. I would say the detailing is a lot better on this new remake Red compared to the original. I just think the detailing on the fur is a lot more realistic and the paint job is a lot more clean. So you know, I would just say it's a much updated figure, but both figures are great in their own way. But yeah, anyhow, let's take a look at what we have here. You can see the eye painted in there, and you can see the nose and all the whiskers and pores sculpted. It's just incredible detail. Even like the forehead with all these patterns and markings. The real metal chain on his ear, which is such a massive improvement from the original, which has a plastic chain sculpted directly onto the figure. And here we have the feather and all the braids sculpted into the hairpiece. Here we have the top of the hair, which is a much sharper sculpt, once again, compared to the original. And moving down here, we have the 13 symbol painted on the shoulder, which is a very clean paint job. I mean, check out all the detailing, like all the sculpting of the muscle in his shoulder here. It's just crazy detail. And we have this gold metal bracelets around the wrists. And moving down here to the actual body piece of the figure, we have the pattern at the back of the leg. Once again, the tail is made out of a soft piece of rubber with a metal frame inside the tail, so you can pose it any which way you want. And the top of the flame is made out of a translucent piece of material. And here's the side of the figures. So we have a nice look at all the sculpting on the sides and the profile of the face. So this is the original Red. And let's begin with the remake. I mean, check out all the sculpting in the face, all the nice fur detail. He's missing the eye, which is a pretty iconic trait on this character. This side he has 2 metal rings on his ear, as you guys can see, which as I mentioned are real chain, so they can actually move around, which is a really nice touch. This side we have the pattern once again on the forehead, which he doesn't have the pattern on this side on the original Red 13, which is, I guess it's a pretty big difference. This is the hairpiece and the mane sculpted up here. I mean, just incredible sculpting, and I'm especially impressed with the paint job. It just flows so nicely together. And once again, check out the shoulder with all this muscle sculpted in there. I mean, look at the size of his bicep and the tricep, it's crazy. I mean, he's a super buff character in the new remake, which I think is a cool design. And of course we have the claws and the paw. Moving down here to the body piece. And then he's got the pattern on this side of the leg, which is the same on the original Red 13 from AC. And up here we have the tail with this really cool flame, which is a much different sculpt from the original. I do think the tail from the original looks a lot better. I just think the flame has a lot more shape, whereas the remake is a very, it's a very straight looking flame, which I don't think looks as great. And here's the back of the figures. And so from the back, there's really not too much of a difference. You couldn't tell that they're different figures apart from maybe the paint job. But anyhow, here's a look at the top. So let me just give you guys like a top view of the detailing. So this is the original Red 13, and that's the headpiece. And here we have the remake, which is pretty cool because we even have this this collar piece, which has some materia in there, which I never noticed before. So it's pretty cool to check out all the new details. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a better look at the headpiece and how you move the mouth. So here's a look at the original Red 13. So as you can see, the eye sculpted in here, which is on the ball joints. So you can actually rotate the eye if you want, which is a really cool feature about these Red 13 figures. They're the only figures that have that feature. But yeah, as you can see, you can kind of like move the top of the headpiece up like so to expose the gums and the teeth, and you can move the lower part of the jaw down to expose the tongue, which is a very cool detail. Now as for the remake Red 13, he's pretty much the exact same. So as for the headpiece, you can kind of rotate it up like so to expose the teeth and the gums. It is a lot more details on this remake version, so you can move the mouth down to expose the tongue and even like the back of the throat, which is really crazy detail. You can see like the top, the roof of his mouth in there. Really quite amazing. And his mouth is painted like a lot more purple compared to pink, like the original Reds. So you know, I think this is a really cool feature. So you can just move it down like so to expose the teeth, or if you guys want to close it. And of course the eye is on a ball joint, so you can rotate it any which way you want. So as you can see, the joints are super exposed on these figures. So you know, you guys may not like this, the fact that we can see the joints so clearly on the sculpt. But anyhow, let's take a look at what we have here. So as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. We have a hinge joint at the jaw, so you can open and close the mouth. And the same goes for the lower jaw. So yeah, quite a nice range of posability in there. As for the neck piece, we have this pretty large hinge joints. And as for the shoulder piece, we have a ball joint in here. And even inside like the shoulder itself, we have another ball joint. So you know, we have quite a nice range of posability. We have a hinge joint at the elbow and a ball hinge joint at the wrists. Inside the torso, we have a large ball joint in there. It does feel quite restrictive. Inside the torso piece, we have this large hinge joint, as you can see. These are very, very sturdy joints, so you know, I don't really want to move it about too much. Inside the hip, we have this ball ratchet joint, as you guys can hear that. We have a hinge joint at the back right here. We have another hinge joint at the knee, and we have a ball hinge joint at the ankle piece. And as for the tail, as I mentioned, it's made out of a soft piece of rubber with a metal frame inside, so you can pose it any which way you want, and it will hold that position. I just generally like to have it up, kind of curved up like so. So as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. Inside the jaw, we have this hinge joint, so we can open and close it like so. Inside the neck piece, we have this large hinge joint. And this here hairpiece in the main is made out of a super rigid piece of plastic, so you don't want to break this. Inside the shoulder, we have this single ball joint, whereas on the original, we had two ball joints inside the shoulder, so yeah, now we just have one. Inside the elbow, we have this ball hinge joints. Same goes for the wrist, we have a ball hinge joints. And it seems like we have this hinge joints on the paw, which was not on the original, so I guess this is a new joint. Now inside the chest piece, it seems like we have a single ball joint in here. And we also have a ball joint at the waist. So inside the hip, we have this ball ratchet joints. And at the back of the leg here, we have this hinge joints. At the back of the knee, we have a ball hinge joint. Same goes for the ankle, a ball hinge joints. And at the toe, once again, we have this hinge joints. Inside the tail, we have the metal frame inside the tail, which is made out of a soft piece of rubber, so we can pose it any which way we want. And of course, the tail is made out of a translucent piece of material. Okay, so that's about going to wrap up this comparison review on the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Red 13. So guys, this is such a nice piece. I would definitely recommend picking up this remake figure of Red over the original. I mean, the original Red 13 is good, but as I mentioned before, it's a super rare and expensive piece, so you may have a hard time trying to track it down. So yeah, definitely pick up the remake figure. But anyhow guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this review was helpful, hope you guys enjoyed. And as I mentioned before, I will have a review of every single figure here. So if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and be sure to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these PlayArt Kai figure reviews. Thank you guys for watching, have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, take it easy guys.